While the most recent slate of games provided a bit of separation within the Big 12 and SEC, we might as well call Week 8 Pac-12 Saturday. The latest AP Top 25 includes 4 Pac-12 programs: Oregon, Utah, Arizona State, and Washington. And they are all preparing for one of the ranked schools. Throw in Arizona's trip to USC, and the conference's hierarchy will be clear by Sunday morning. Penn State will host Michigan in the only other matchup between top 25 teams. That may suggest a relatively quiet weekend is coming, but it means any upset could be a dramatic one. Last week, South Carolina pulled off a stunner at Georgia. Will another top-ranked squad fall to an unranked foe this Saturday? Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. And, well, we had a lot of exciting games last week. It was our most exciting week. Somewhat back to reality. We only have 3 huge games this week, but 2 of them are from that Pac-12, and we have a change of networks for one game. I'm going to explain that in just a moment because that's our first game of the night. So, without any further ado, let's dive right on in to the slate for week number 8. Already at the halfway mark. It is insane how we are at this point already. But, you know, it is what it is. It seemed like it was just yesterday we were starting a whole new season of this, and now here we are halfway home. So, nothing more to say. Let's get into it. And we're going to start it off with a game that will take place tomorrow night. Now, this first game tomorrow night was originally scheduled to air on Fox Sports 1. However, as you all know, last night, we were supposed to have Game 4 of the American League Championship Series with the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. But the game was rained out because of heavy rain. So Game 4 was moved to tonight. Game 5 is moved to tomorrow. And let's not forget about a certain new wrestling show that airs on Fox on Friday nights now. A little show called Friday Night SmackDown. You might have heard of it. SmackDown's on Fox. Game 5 of the ALCS goes to FS1. And now you're saying, okay, where does this game go? Simple. It now goes to the Big Ten Network. The Big Ten Network will have this first game of the week tomorrow night. We have the number 4 Ohio State Buckeyes squaring off against the Northwestern Wildcats at Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois. I do believe that Joe Davis's crew is working this matchup. I believe it's Joe Davis and along with Brock Heward and Bruce Feldman. Yes, Joe Davis, Brock Heward, Bruce Feldman on the call for Ohio State and Northwestern tomorrow night on the Big Ten Network. And okay, here we go. The spread, all Ohio State. It's a 27-point spread for the Buckeyes. And not going to beat around the bush here. In 4 games against power conference teams, Northwestern has trudged to 42 total points. The relative bright side is the Wildcats have only allowed 85 in those matchups. But if an offense struggles this badly to score 20, expecting an upset is foolish. So nothing more to say on this. It's Ohio State all the way, 35-10. Holy Buckeye. That's all there is to say on that. So nothing more to say. MF, I smell another easy win for Ohio State. This is not the same Northwestern team that won our hearts a year ago. MF, are you there?
What? You there?
I don't know if MF stepped away or.
Oh, I didn't see anything on the chat.
Yeah, I don't see anything on the chat either. So,
do you want me to take it for a spin?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him. I don't. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, you said go to.
Yeah, he says go to. Yeah, he said go to you. He said be right back. So, all right, Michael Bullock, why don't you take this for a spin? Ohio State and Northwestern.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Florio. I mean, I think this is going to be an easy win for Ohio State. I mean, it's Northwestern's not like the team that we saw last season that won our hearts. They're definitely a different team, so it's going to be an easy win for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So, let's just move right along to the next game, which looks like I'm going to lead off on.
Yeah, you'll have to lead off on until MF is ready to come back in. So, it's the first of 6 high noon kickoffs on Saturday. This first one will be at high noon over on ABC. The number 3, they're now number 3 now, reigning, defending, undisputed national champion Clemson Tigers. But they're going to be in for a tough one. They're going to be scoring off against the Louisville Cardinals at Cardinals Stadium. This game over on ABC, as I mentioned, and on the call for that one, it will be Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, and Allison Williams. And the spread favors, I'm pretty sure it favors Clemson. Just waiting for my notes to load. Yeah, I got it. Clemson is a 24-point favorite. 24-point spread for Clemson against Louisville. Now, Bullock, Louisville, they're starting to get better. I mean, they outlasted Wake Forest in an insane game last week, but now they got the national champions coming to town.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'll be quite honest, Florio. I mean, with what you said, I think this could be a little closer than 24. What the spread is saying. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be like a touchdown game, but I think Louisville can. I mean, I think they'll hang around for a bit, but I think eventually Clemson will run away with it because I mean, hey, they are the reigning national champions, so you know Lawrence is having another really good season. I mean, you could definitely see him in the Heisman Trophy conversation. But yeah, Louisville will definitely hang in it in the beginning, but eventually you're going to see Clemson start to pull away at the end. So Clemson will win this one. I'm going to say 34-20 is going to be my final score. So nothing more to say, Florio. It is yours.
Yep. After edging Boston College 41-39, Louisville handed Wake Forest its first loss with a 62-59 track meet win. Head coach Scott Satterfield's impact on the Cardinals is positive and clear. At the same time, the defense has allowed 1,753 yards and 133 points to 3 ACC opponents. Clemson should run all over Louisville, but at least the offense might have 30-point potential this time around. So I am going with Clemson to win this one as well. My final score, I'm going to go 56-24. Clemson should have somewhat of an easy time with Louisville. I think Louisville might give them fits early, but I think Clemson will flex the muscle. So nothing more to say. All right, MF is ready to go. So MF, come on in. You got 2 games to give us your thoughts on. Tomorrow night, Ohio State against Northwestern. And then the first Saturday high noon game, Clemson and Louisville.
I'm gonna go with Ohio State in the Friday night game, and then you were absolutely right, Anthony. I'm gonna go with Clemson as well. I really got nothing more to say. So, Mike Bullock, it's all yours, my friend.
Well, he already led off, so
all right.
Yeah, we had to switch it up. We had to switch it up with your stepping away. But we're gonna start you off with this next one, MF. Our next high noon game, this one over on Fox. Out of the Big 12, we have the number 5 Oklahoma Sooners at home at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman. They're going to be hosting the Mountaineers of West Virginia. You know who's working this. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft, they'll be there in Norman. And the spread favors Oklahoma 33-point spread for Oklahoma. MF, I mean, last week they got their revenge against Texas in another great Red River rivalry. Not as exciting as last year's, but it was still a fun game nonetheless. Oklahoma getting their revenge. And now they got a so-so West Virginia team coming to town, 33-point favorites.
Yeah, and that's no big surprise. You know, we got Jalen Hurts right now. I'm going to openly admit it. I think he's now the new front runner for the Heisman Trophy. What he's done up to this point has been unbelievable. Great performance, and I think he's going to continue that great run. He's going to pad those stats to possibly become the Heisman Trophy winner. I think he'll have a dominating performance, and I will say, and I openly do predict Oklahoma to win pretty handily. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Fletch. I think Jalen Hurts. I think he's now the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, no doubt about it. I mean, with what he's done so far this season, and yeah, I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, it's going to be a tough day for West Virginia's defense to have to deal with that. And, yeah, Oklahoma's going to run away with this one, no doubt about it. So, Florio, it is yours. Let's move on.
Turnovers have crushed West Virginia lately. 7 giveaways in the last 2 games. Led to 35 combined points for Texas and Iowa State. Oklahoma doesn't create many takeaways. But the point is, WVU cannot afford to give quarterback Jalen Hurts and company a short field. Otherwise, a likely OU win only turns into a blowout. So, and I think it will turn into one here. Oklahoma should roll 45-21. Boomer Sooner. That's for you, JR. So nothing more to say here. Let's get into our next matchup here. And I'll start it off, and then we'll get back into our normal rotation here. High noon over on the Big Ten Network. We got the number 6 Wisconsin Badgers squaring off against the Fighting Illini of Illinois, Memorial Stadium in Champaign. The Big Ten Network will house this one, and working on that one, it will be. We got Kevin Kugler, Matt Millen, Rick Pizzo, the A team of the Big Ten Network. They will have that one. And we have Wisconsin opening up as a 31-point favorite. So, yeah, okay. Let me see this one. Okay. Illinois has played 3 Big Ten games, giving up 973 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground. And now they need to defend Jonathan Taylor and his 137.5 rushing yards a game. Yeah, good luck with that, guys. It's Wisconsin all the way, 42-7. Nothing more to say. MF, it's going to be the Jonathan Taylor show in Champaign.
Yeah, I know that about it. Jonathan Taylor, that's another guy who's done really well lately, who's looking like a Heisman Trophy candidate himself. I gotta say, Wisconsin dominating performance. I think they will get the job done. There's really nothing more for me to add. So yeah, absolutely right. So I'm gonna say Jonathan Taylor as well. So yes, Michael Bullock, I give it to you. I think Wisconsin wins in dominating fashion.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, I expect to have a big day in Illinois. I mean, he's definitely gonna be all over that Illinois defense. So yeah, and add to his chances of being in the Heisman Trophy race. But we'll see how that all plays out. So, but yeah, Wisconsin's gonna go into Champaign and dominate the Fighting Illini. So nothing more to say. Florio, let's just move on to our next game.
And it comes from the SEC. The SEC will have this one, and I'm already going on the record. This is to me the sleeper game of the week right here, especially after what happened last week. The number 9 Florida Gators on the road, squaring off against the Gamecocks of South Carolina at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. This is a high noon kickoff over on ESPN. And on the call for that one, it'll be Dave Patch with Greg McElroy and Tom Luganville. And we have, I believe, Florida. Yeah, Florida opening up as only a 5-point favorite. And I think we all know why. MF, we started with you here. I think we all know why the short spread. South Carolina, they didn't do much. All they did was just go into Georgia and beat the number 3 team in the country, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I don't think none of us saw that coming. That was an upset and a half. That, man, if we were still doing the power poll, man, Georgia, man, boys, you would have been in big trouble with us today. Oof. We all would have been on your case for this one. But, South Carolina came with a great game plan. They dominated that they needed to do. They kept it close, kept it right between them, had an opportunity. And, man, once it went into overtime, the lightning struck, and they got that big victory, a monumental victory for them. That was a game changer for all of us. And, could it happen again? It's very possible. A lot of people kind of feels like, after what happened last week, anything can happen. So, I mean, is there a possibility for an upset? Very possible. You know what? I'm gonna go. I think it could happen again. I might actually pull the trigger and call for the upset a second time around. But Florida, man, I don't know. This is a tough game. I think Florida will eke it out, but I would not be surprised if we see an upset. Nothing more to say, Mike Bullock. I'll give it to you, but I give Florida the win.
Yeah, I mean, nobody saw this coming last week with South Carolina. I mean, nobody thought that this team would go into Georgia and upset the Maine and Georgia Bulldogs, but they kept it close, and all they needed in that game was a chance. They had a chance. They took it into not just overtime, but double overtime. And when they had the ball, they capitalized on their opportunity. And you could see the look on the faces of all the fans in the stands over in Athens, Georgia. They were like, "What the hell just happened? Did we just get upset?" Yeah, you guys did. And could they possibly do it again? It's possible, but I mean, Florida's looking really good. But you know what, guys? I'm going to pull an FF here. I'm actually going to call for the upset. I'm going to go with the South Carolina Gamecocks to pull off the upset here. It's going to be a close one, like it said. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go 41-34 in overtime. I'm taking it a step further. I think it's going to go to overtime, and that's when South Carolina's going to pull it off again. Florio, it's yours. How do you follow that?
My gosh, I don't know how you can. I mean, that's the boldest prediction I've ever heard. I mean, that's amazing. So you think an SEC game could turn into a Big 12 game, huh? You think there's going to be some offense here? I don't know about that. But nonetheless, North Carolina and Alabama diced South Carolina's coverage. But 4 other opponents have failed to crack 7 yards per passing attempt. If the Gamecocks could keep Jake Fromm below the mark, surely they could do the same to Kyle Trask. Yet without a few takeaways, they had 4 against Georgia. South Carolina's margin for error is small. So reluctantly, I'm going to agree with MF here. I'm going to say 27-17, Florida over South Carolina, but I would not be surprised at all if South Carolina were to do it again. So we'll see. Next up, we stay in the SEC, and it is a battle here. We got a little bit of a buddy bowl here, friends. We have Lindsey McCormick and her number 11 Auburn Tigers squaring off against State of Sorrel's Arkansas Razorbacks at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium in Arkansas. This game will be over on the SEC Network. Taylor Zarzar, Matt Stinchcomb, and Alyssa Lang will be on the call for that one. Auburn favored by 19.5. Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you. It's Lindsey McCormick and Auburn against State of Sorrel in Arkansas. Who gets the edge here? We lost Bullock for a moment. I think he might have made a little dips, a little botcheroo there. Okay, there he is. All right. All right, we got Bullock back in. Bullock, come on back in. Auburn, Arkansas, Lindsey McCormick, State of Sorrel. Who you got here?
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is I can't imagine how those two are going to be during this game. But Auburn. They really need this win badly in order to keep up in the race to hopefully somewhere down the line, hopefully make it to the SEC tournament. So, yeah, they really need to handle their business with Arkansas, which I think they will. I got Auburn winning this. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So I'm just going to give it to you, Florio. It's yours.
SEC tournament, huh? We playing for hoops there, Bullock. I think you're thinking of the SEC tournament in hoops. I think you meant the SEC championship.
Oh, the SEC. I meant in the SEC championship. Sorry, it's been a long day, guys.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, we've all been there. I think someone clearly has March Madness on the mind. I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But we still got a ways to go before that. But
well, maybe in the case of MLB postseason with the way things are going right now.
Don't remind me. But
It's getting a little interesting now. We got a little interesting. We digress.
Yeah.
We digress.
Yeah, we do digress.
Well, let's not forget on the National League side, which we never thought would
even get me
happen.
started on that one.
Yeah. History for some, but I know for MF, he's probably fuming because it's one of his hated division rivals. So, but nonetheless, well, that's the story for another day. Let's get back into this now. So, but anyways, this could be a look-ahead game for Auburn since LSU awaits next week. But after losing to Florida and having last Saturday off, the Tigers should be ready to seize control of this SEC tilt quickly. Arkansas, barring sudden improvement in a passing game that mustered 122 yards at Kentucky last week, is highly unlikely to move the ball regularly. I'm sorry, Sorrel. The hard times are going to continue for you, my dear. I'm sorry to say. I know how you feel. I know how frustrated you are. But, it is what it is. I mean, if you haven't seen her on her social media, that young lady is not too happy. And that's all I can say on that. But Lindsey McCormick, keep on smiling, darling, because it's going to be another big day for your guys. So I'm going to go with Auburn. Auburn, easy win here, 38-17. War Eagle. Nothing more to say, MF.
I agree. War Eagle. I gotta go with Auburn as well. I just don't see how Arkansas can even hang with Auburn right now. I think they're just too powerful offensively. Defensively, they're really good. I don't see it here. I just think Auburn, and plus Auburn is a little spitting mad after they got pretty much manhandled by Florida. So Obviously, Auburn's got something to prove here. I'm sorry, War Eagle. I got Auburn winning, and they're going to get a nice little bounce back here. And it's not even going to be close. I think it's going to be at least a 3-touchdown margin. So nothing more to say. Florio, next game.
And it's our final high noon game. This is over on ESPN2. Back to the Big Ten. We have the number 23 Iowa Hawkeyes back at home at Kinnick Stadium. They're going to be hosting the Purdue Boilermakers. And this one over on ESPN2, we got Beth Mowins, Anthony Becht, and Rocky Boyman. They will have the call for that one. And the spread favors Iowa. I believe the spread is 17.5. Just want to confirm here. I've got a very slow-moving machine here.
Yes, 17.5 is correct.
Okay, so it is indeed 17.5. That's all right. It came up here. So 17.5 for Iowa against Purdue. So get into this one quickly. I mean, Iowa. I mean, what can you say? I mean, they had a rough time with Penn State last Saturday night, but 2 weeks ago, this seemed like a definite Iowa victory. Then on last Saturday, Purdue quarterback Jack Plummer broke out for 420 yards and 3 touchdowns. Was that simply a bad Maryland defense, or are the Boilers ready to compete? I'm going to need a little more evidence before jumping on the Boilermaker train. It's in Iowa. It's a very tough place to win. Yes, Penn State won there, but I think this is another, we talked about a bounce back in the last game. Let's go for another bounce back here. I'm going with Iowa to bounce back. My final score, 27-17. Iowa bounces back, gets the win back over Purdue. So nothing more to say. MF, Iowa back at home. Yes, Jack Plummer of Purdue had a huge game against Maryland, but you're going into Iowa. Very tough place to win.
Very tough place to win, but Iowa's lost 2 in a row. They lost to Michigan, lost to Penn State, and that is a very devastating, and they were 2 devastating losses. They weren't just like, they could have won either game. I mean, they weren't blowout victories. They weren't dominating performances. No, they were pretty low-scoring defensive battles that if Iowa's offense would have been able to make a couple of plays here and there, we'd be talking about Iowa maybe undefeated and making a run at the Big Ten title. But 2 big losses back to back, and now all of a sudden, can Purdue pull it off? It's very possible, but like you said, that was Maryland a week ago, and Maryland's not as great. Iowa's a different animal, and at home, I'm with you, Florio. Iowa wins, but it is not going to be a pretty game. 20-13 is my final score. Bullock, I give it to you, bro.
Yeah, I expect Iowa to bounce back after 2 straight losses. I mean, there's no way they're going to lose 3 in a row, especially in front of their home field. So, yeah, they're going to be motivated, and yeah, Purdue may have played good, but yeah, it's nothing compared to this Iowa team right here. So I got Iowa winning this one as well. So let's just move on to our next game, Florio, and I think it's the SEC on CBS.
You are correct, sir. It is the SEC on CBS as we move into our late afternoon games now. We have how many 3:30? Oh, we got quite a few 3:30s here. I think we have another 6. I think we have 6 of these. Yes, 6. 6 more 3:30 kickoffs here. And it starts off, as Bullock said, with the SEC on CBS. You know how much we love that. The number 2. Yes, they're number 2 now. The LSU Tigers going on the road against the Mississippi State Bulldogs at Davis Wade Stadium at Scott Field in Starkville. If it's the SEC on CBS, you know who's working this one. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Erdahl. They will be in Starkville for this one. And LSU opening up as a 17.5-point favorite. MF, we started off with you here. LSU coming off that big win against Florida under the light.
Yep.
Can they keep the momentum going on the road in Starkville?
I think they will. I think they'll definitely keep the momentum going. I just, when you got Mississippi State losing to Tennessee last week, 20-10, that dropped them to the 3-3 mark. But like you said, LSU is just keep on rolling. They're just dominating right now. They're playing really good football. You know what? And the thing is, they got to watch themselves because they got two big matchups right behind that could really, if LSU gets through the one against Mississippi, if they beat Mississippi, they got a home game against Auburn. They get by Auburn. There's gonna be a clash of the Titans.
Game of the century.
In Tuscaloosa.
Oh boy.
You already know that could be. Now, we always talk about next victim. I'm sorry.
Nope.
If this is the team, if this LSU team plays the way they've been playing all year long, that next victim is going to be dead and buried. That's what I'm saying. Alabama is definitely going to have to watch their backs because LSU, the Bayou Bengal, could rip an elephant in shreds if they get their way. And you don't forget about national championship implications. This is the college football playoff right here. Whoever loses this, they're done. They're out. LSU wins. Nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
That's why we call him the hype man, folks. That's why we call him the hype man. Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's why we call him the hype man. I mean, because he hypes stuff just like that. So, yeah, LSU, I mean, they just need to handle their business, which I think they will with Mississippi State because I'll tell you this, guys. If they start looking ahead to those two big matchups, it could come back and bite them. And you even brought up a good point. They play well, and heading into that big showdown with Alabama. Normally we say next victim when it comes to Alabama. It's not going to be the case this time because this LSU team has the opportunity, with the way they're playing, to beat Alabama, no doubt about it. So LSU wins. Florida, it's yours.
As MF just mentioned, Mississippi State lost to Tennessee. Just lost to Tennessee. For an SEC team, is there anything more deflating than losing to a conference foe from the Volunteer State? Have fun trying to stop this LSU offense. And Joe Burrow, who is another Heisman Trophy contender we have to watch for. LSU all day. 52-17. LSU over Mississippi State. Nothing more to say. Let's move on. Michael Bullock will start off our next game, and he gets to start off on one of our big three games of the week right here. This is the first of our three big ones here. Out of the Pac-12, 3:30 kickoff on ABC. The number 12 Oregon Ducks squaring off against the number 25 Washington Huskies at Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium over on ABC. And on the call for this one, if I recall, if I read this sheet correctly, I believe Sean McDonough's crew is going to be working this one. Yes, Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, and Holly Rowe. They will have the call for this Oregon-Washington game. And Oregon is only favored by 2.5. Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get it started here. Oregon and Washington, one of two Pac-12 games with huge Pac-12 implications.
Yes, this is definitely a big a big one in the Pac-12, and it could determine who could play in the Pac-12 championship game in December. So, yeah, I mean Oregon. I mean, they think this could be an easy game, but it's not, especially when you go into Husky Stadium in front of that big crowd. So, yeah, Oregon just needs to handle their business, but who knows? Washington could be primed for an upset. But Herbert is having a really good season for Oregon, and I expect him to have a really good game here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is one that could smell upset here, but I am going to go with Oregon in this one. But I would not be surprised if Washington pulls off the upset. But I'm going to go with Oregon. But yeah, I mean the Huskies just may do it. So Florio, it is yours.
Absolutely. I mean, big one here. This game not only affects the Pac-12 North race, but also determines whether the conference still has a shot at making the college football playoff, depending on the outcome. Washington has struggled offensively in its 2 losses this season. Bad news against an Oregon defense that has only given up 1 touchdown and no more than 7 points a game since its season-opening loss to Auburn. Oregon's offense has been great as well, with quarterback Justin Herbert, 1,602 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 1 interception, taking advantage of a rushing attack that features 3 backs who average 6 yards. The ball squad to win a close one to keep the Pac-12 playoff hopes alive for another week. I know Eric Carey is going to be very happy with this. And one other quick thing I wanted to get into on this one. Oregon sits at 3-0 in Pac-12 play, and every other North Division team has at least 2 conference losses. If the Ducks win Saturday, they'll basically secure a place in the Pac-12 title game. Washington's defense may frustrate Justin Herbert, especially if Oregon stubbornly leans on quick passes and the running game. However, the Ducks can ride their own defense, one that hasn't allowed more than 7 points in 5 straight outings, to perhaps a low-scoring win in Seattle. So I am going to go with Oregon to win. My final score, I'm going to go 28-20, Oregon over Washington. So nothing more to say. MF, the first of our big 3 games of the week. Who do you like in this Pac-12 implication?
I like Oregon. I totally agree with what you just said there, Florio. You are absolutely right. I just think that they're just going to be a really good team. They're going to play wicked hard, and I think they'll get the job done. So I got Oregon winning. Nothing more to say. Anthony, next game.
Now, this is the sleeper game of the week right here. 3:30 over on ESPN2. This is a game that makes me very happy. You know how much I love those, mid-major, small, little engine that could teams right here. We got the number 19 SMU Mustangs at home at Gerald J. Ford Stadium. They're going to be hosting the Temple Owls over on ESPN2. Oh, man, this is awesome. We got Mark Jones, Dusty Dvoracek, and Olivia Decker on the call. And SMU opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. Yeah, I love this matchup. I really do. You remember a week ago on this program, I believe a certain someone went on record and said that Temple was going to beat Memphis. Anybody remember who that was? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was me. That's right. I believe I had Temple winning that game last week. I did. And sure enough, they did, man. That was a fun game. Could SMU be the 3rd-ranked opponent Temple takes down this year and 2nd consecutive out of the American? The AAC East leading Owls upended previously unbeaten Memphis last Saturday thanks to a defensive performance that notched 4 takeaways. The Mustangs, top among AAC West teams, needed a furious comeback to beat Tulsa and avoid losing its first game as a ranked team since 1986. I think Sonny Dykes will have his team ready to play off the bye week, and the combination of quarterback Shane Shane Buechele, receiver James Prochet, and running back Xavier Jones should be enough for the Mustangs to secure the win. That said, this might not be the only time these teams play this season. Wink, wink, if that's not any indication. I gotta go with SMU. I mean, I know the result basically hinges on SMU's pass defense, and while the Mustangs have allowed just 6.4 yards per attempt and a 56.7% completion rate, they've surrendered multiple passing scores in every game and 18 touchdowns through the air. Temple isn't explosive, but it is efficient enough to slowly, consistently move the ball. I will give Temple that. But with this game being at SMU, I have to give the slight edge to SMU, but I would not be surprised if Temple does it again. So, but I am going to go with SMU. I'm going to take a chance here. 31-30, SMU over Temple in what should be one fun-ass game. That's all I can say on that. Damn, I love me some American athletic football. That's one conference I think we need to keep an eye on more, gentlemen. So that's all I can say on that. The little engine that could, I call that conference. So love them. 31-30, SMU wins. Nothing more to say. MF, this is a pure Tony special for me.
Yeah, this is. I'm not gonna deny that. This is gonna be a good game, no doubts. I'm gonna go with SMU as well. I think they're just a better team right now. You know what? But they got very lucky. They could have gotten upended. They barely escaped with a victory, 43-37 in triple overtime over Tulsa. Tulsa gave them a world of hurt in their game. They actually were up huge at one point. They were actually up 30-9 going into the fourth quarter, and then SMU basically flipped the switch, 21 unanswered, and then basically won the game, like I said, in the third overtime. So, I mean, holy cow, they cannot do that against Temple. They do that at Temple, Temple's going to get them, and they will get that third-ranked upset victory. So, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to go with SMU, but they got to play a lot better than they did against Tulsa. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Fletch. I mean, SMU cannot have another performance like they had against Tulsa, because if they do, then yeah, there's a chance Temple can pull off the upset and beat their third ranked team on the season. So I do agree. I'm going to go with SMU to win this one. They are the better team, but like you said, they need to play better, not just offensively, but also defensively as well. Because if they don't, Temple just may spoil the fun. So yeah, nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours. And we do have a final score on Thursday Night Football. The Kansas City Chiefs, they blow out the Denver Broncos 30-6, despite, of course, the big story, Patrick Mahomes leaving the game with a knee injury. So we'll have to keep updated throughout the week to see how long, or if Pat Mahomes is going to miss any games. So
yeah,
that hurts.
What were we going to say?
That hurts me. That hurts me.
That hurts.
That's my number one guy. That's my number one guy, man.
Yeah, that hurts Florio in his fantasy league. That's it. That was his. That's his bread and butter. That was his go-to. So now I know he's got two other quarterbacks. You're gonna have to scramble fast to get the other two. But yeah, that was a bad loss. It's a bad loss, a bad injury. It's rumors right now it could be either a patella or it was a possible kneecap issue. Either way,
I'll tell you this, guys. I'll tell you this, guys. I mean, this could change the whole complex of the AFC overall.
Oh yeah.
The Patriots right now they are atop, not just in the AFC East, but the AFC overall. But I'll tell you what, it could be huge, especially somewhere down the line where it could determine who gets home field in the AFC.
Most certainly.
Absolutely.
Most certainly.
Absolutely.
And Saturday on NFL Saturday, we will definitely have more on this, and hopefully, we'll get something out of it. So we will definitely keep an eye on it, and if we hear anything, look for us on social media, and we'll definitely keep you guys informed whenever we hear anything. So very devastating, especially for me. That was my guy in fantasy, and I would not be surprised if I lose again this week. I mean, I started off so hot at 4-0, and now all of a sudden I've lost 2 in a row. One of those being a heartbreaker to MF, but then I got my ass blown out last week, and who knows? That could be. I'm probably gonna be in big trouble this week. I had Mahomes in there, so good luck. So if I win this week, that would be nothing short of a miracle. So, all right, let's move on here. We go to the Big Ten for our next matchup here, 3:30 over on the Big Ten Network. The number 20 Minnesota Golden Gophers against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, SHI Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. The Big Ten Network has this call, and we have Lisa Byington with Jay Lehman and Elise Menaker. Minnesota opening up as a 28.5-point favorite. Now, MF, I say this with love. I love Rutgers. I mean, Catherine Tappan, is a proud Rutgers alum, and that's why I love them. But let's be realistic. When it comes to the Big Ten, Rutgers is nothing but a proverbial doormat. Am I right or am I right?
I can't disagree with that at all. You're absolutely right. They are, unfortunately, the proverbial doormat. I don't think there's really much that we could even add or talk or say that would make us feel any different. I'm just gonna say this. Rutgers, bless their hearts, they try to play, they try to hang in there, but when you're 1-5 already, and you're going up against Minnesota, that's 6-0, and that just absolutely thrashed Nebraska last week. Yeah, I don't see how this is gonna go any different. Unfortunately for Rutgers, you're gonna lose yet again. Minnesota wins. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Minnesota, it's going to be a field day for them against Rutgers, and like you said, and I totally agree with you guys. Rutgers is nothing more than a doormat when it comes to whoever they face, whether it's anybody from the Big Ten or any other conference. So nothing more to say. Let's just move on, Florio.
Since defeating UMass to begin the campaign, Rutgers has scored a total of 23 points in 5 games. Do I have to spell it out for you any further? It's Minnesota all day. 41-7, Minnesota all over Rutgers. Next up, we go back to the American Conference, 3:30 kickoff over on ESPN University. We have the number 21 Cincinnati Bearcats back at home at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati. They're going to be hosting the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. And on the call for that one, it will be Kevin Brown with Andre Ware and Taylor Davis. And the spread favors. Well, I don't think they gave me a spread for this one. So
hold on, let me actually check up Florio. See if there's a spread here. All right, give me.
Hang on. I might have.
Oh, I actually got it. I actually got it for you.
17.
Yes, 7. Well, is it just 17 or 17 and a half?
I have 17 on my sheet here, so it's 17.
All right, well,
Cincinnati opening up as a 17-point favorite. So and Bullock right on cue. I mean, you start off here. So Cincy at home against Tulsa, Cincinnati by 17. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I like Cincy here. I mean, I just think they're the better team. Yeah, Tulsa. I mean, with a losing record at 2-4. Yeah, what does that spell? I got Cincinnati winning this one, no doubt about it. So I'm just going to give it to you, Florio.
Yeah, remove the understandable loss at Ohio State, and Cincinnati boasts one of the nation's most effective defenses. The Bearcats have otherwise allowed no more than 24 points, collapsing at home against Tulsa, which is 116th in yards per play out of 130 FBS programs, would be stunning. But Cincinnati wins nonetheless, 33-17, all Cincy here. So nothing more to say. MF, wrap it up here.
Agreed. Cincinnati, I do believe they'll win the game. Nothing more to say. So on to the next one.
Yep. And we have one more 3:30 kickoff for you. This one will be over on ESPN Plus. For those of you who have ESPN Plus, you get this matchup, and I think I hear some grumbles from MF because this is one of his past nightmares. This is one of his nightmares from years past. They're back in the polls, folks. They're back in the top 25. Number 24, Mountaineers of Appalachian State. Yes, sir. App State back in the top 25. They clock in at number 24, and they are going to be squaring off. Oh, my list of games disappeared here momentarily. I don't know how, but it did. Refreshing it now, but we are talking about Appalachian State at number 24, and they are going to be squaring off against Louisiana Monroe, the Red Hawks, I believe, of Louisiana Monroe. And spread, of course, App State is the favorite. Appalachian State opening up as a 15-point favorite, and I'm trying to find my announcers for this one. Oh, that's right. I got to go into the streaming section because it's on a stream. So, because ESPN Plus is a very reliable streaming service that I know these guys have. Okay, it'll be Harrison Battle and Pierre Banks on the call for Louisiana Monroe and Appalachian State. At it's called Kid Brewer Stadium. Okay, Kid Brewer Stadium, and it's the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe. But nonetheless, Appalachian State opening up as a 15-point favorite. So I believe I start this one off. So yeah, because Bullock had the last one. Okay. Let me see. App State. Yes, Appalachian State navigated the ever treacherous midweek road game last Wednesday and returns home for a favorable matchup. Louisiana Monroe ranks 5th worst nationally with 5.7 yards allowed to carry. App State should be able to control this matchup on the ground and improve to 6-0. I'm going with Appalachian State to win this one, 34-24. My final score, nothing more to say. MF, Appalachian State back in the top 25. Give it up.
Agreed. They look very good. They've undefeated. You're right now. They're in a very unique situation because remember, the New Year's Six allows one mid-major if they're in the top 15 to get into the New Year's Six. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be in the college football playoff, but it would guarantee them a spot in the New Year's Six. Right now, Appalachian State would be a contender to sneak into the New Year's Six. And you already know, you talk about that little engine that could, Florio. This could be that one team that could sneak in, have a little fun, and cause a little trouble. So we'll wait and see what happens. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give it App State. I'll give them the victory. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Bullock, are you there?
Bullock?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, Appalachian State, what can you say about them? I mean, they've been playing really good as of late, and yeah. I mean, now they're back in the top 25, and yeah, I mean, if they continue to play well, and as Fletcher just mentioned, they allow at least one mid-major to play in the New Year's Six. So if Appalachian State can continue to play well the rest of the way, they may be able to get into the New Year's Six. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But I got Appalachian State winning this one. Let's move on, Florio.
We have two 4 o'clock kickoffs here. This first 4 o'clock kickoff will be over on Fox. The number 18 Baylor Bears squaring off against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. And on the call for that one, it will be, I believe it's Tim Brando's crew, I believe, working this one. Yes, Tim Brando with Spencer Tillman and Coley Harvey. They will be in Stillwater for Baylor and Oklahoma State. And Baylor, well, actually, Oklahoma State is actually opening up as a 4-point favorite. Wow, color me surprised, MF.
I think the odds makers have disrespected Baylor.
Yeah.
And if I'm Baylor, I am hopping mad right now.
Amen.
You don't need no hype man on this. Just put this up on their bulletin board, and you're gonna see some stuff flying around in their locker room. What do you mean they're not making us the favorite? We're undefeated. We've won our games. Okay. I think what it is because of the fact that they just barely beat Texas Tech in double overtime, 33-30 last week, and maybe that's why the odds makers are giving them a lot of hay about that. And plus, the fact that Texas Tech knocked off Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago. I mean, that's not an indictment on Baylor. I mean, that's actually. Like I said, I think you guys are making a huge mistake here. Vegas, you just got the ire and you just got Baylor a little fired up, and I hope you know what you just done, because you are about to infuriate the Baylor Bears, and man, I'm gonna say I think Baylor's gonna win. I think because of this, Baylor's going to win. They're going to want to take it to these odds makers and say, you're going to make the Oklahoma State Cowboys the favorites? Oh, yeah? Watch this. So this is a watch this moment, and I hope Baylor heeds that warning, and I hope they get fired up because, man, if somebody ever did that to me, man, I'll be hopping mad. You don't need me to go Cerebral Viper, but that's how I would feel at that point. I would be Cerebral Viper ranting at this moment. But I think Baylor is going to win because, like I said, they're going to be hopping mad when they find out that that nobody's giving them a chance to beat Oklahoma State. That's bad. That is a horrible thing you just did, Vegas. Bullock, it's yours.
I don't think they're just hopping mad. They're boiling mad. I mean, they're like, you're going to make us the underdogs just because of what happened last week? No. I'm pretty sure the coach is going to put that on that bulletin board, and it's going to get the Baylor all fired up here, no doubt about it. They're probably like, hey, we're undefeated here, and you're making us the underdogs? No, you don't do that to us. And you know what? I'm going to say this, guys. After they see this, I mean, Baylor's going to win, but I'll tell you this, guys. If people think it's going to be close, I don't think so. Just because of what the disrespect that Baylor's getting, I think Baylor's going to win in a laugher. Florio, it's yours.
Well, gentlemen, I have an explanation. I think I know why. I'm pretty sure I have the reason why Oklahoma State's the favorite here. Hear me out. Losing and I'm talking about Baylor here, losing senior linebacker Clay Johnston with a knee injury is a massive issue for Baylor. He was their best defensive player, guys. He had collected 58 tackles, nearly doubling the next highest contributor, Terrell Bernard, with 30 through 6 games. Oklahoma State needs Spencer Sanders to stop throwing so many inaccurate passes. But the Cowboys should be able to lean on star runner Chuba Hubbard. Remember that name, Chuba Hubbard, against the Clay Johnston-less defense. And I think that's the reason why Oklahoma State's the favorite. I not only think Oklahoma State's going to cover the spread, I'm actually going to call for the upset here. It's in Stillwater, for goodness sakes. Very tough place to win. If it was in Baylor, all day Baylor. But with this being in Stillwater, I have to go with Oklahoma State for the upset here. 34-30, Oklahoma State over Baylor. But if Baylor wins, okay, I'll eat my humble pie and I'll like it. So nothing more to say. Let's move on here. The other 4 o'clock game, SEC Network. We have the number 22 Missouri Tigers squaring off against the Vanderbilt Commodores. We're talking about one doormat. We talk about Rutgers being the doormat of the Big Ten. Well, here's the doormat of the SEC, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt Stadium in Vanderbilt. SEC Network will have this one. We have Dave Neal, DJ Shockley, and Dawn Davenport on the call for that. And Mizzou opening up as a 21-point favorite. So, Michael Bullock, we started with you. We talk about Rutgers being the doormat of the Big Ten. Vanderbilt's the doormat of the SEC.
Oh, yeah. Vanderbilt is the doormat of the SEC. I mean, I can't even remember the last time Vanderbilt was even good in college football. So, yeah, I think this is going to be an easy win for Missouri. I think they should have no problem going into Vanderbilt and beating them. So, yeah, so it's Missouri all day. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Mizzou. I mean, what can you say? After losing to UNLV in embarrassing fashion, Vanderbilt dropped to 1-5 on the season. Every loss has been by a margin of 18 plus points. Missouri, meanwhile, is averaging 474.3 yards and 38.8 points a game. So there's little sense in picking against the Missouri Tigers here. So I got Mizzou all day, 34-14. Nothing more to say. MF, easy win for Mizzou.
Yeah, absolutely. I got nothing more to say. You gentlemen pretty much covered everything on that one. On to the next game.
And we have 2 6 o'clock kickoffs. Yes, 2 6 o'clock kickoffs. Very rare. But we have one here. This one is over on ESPN. Oh, boy, Georgia. Oh, Georgia took a big tumble here. They went from number 3 all the way down to number 10. Number 10, made in Georgia Bulldogs. They're at home once again, Sanford Stadium, the Hedges in Athens. And they're going to be hosting the Kentucky Wildcats. And this is over on ESPN. And on the call for that one, it'll be Jason Benetti, Rod Gilmore, and Quint Kessenich. They will be there. And Georgia opening up as a 25.5-point favorite. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say here. You know it's going to be Georgia. You want to talk about teams hopping mad, boiling mad? Despite the Bulldogs' shocking loss to South Carolina, the Georgia defense excelled and allowed just 297 yards. Considering how the offense had performed before last week, it is fair to expect a bounce-back performance against Kentucky. The Wildcats have ceded 5+ yards per carry in 4 straight games. It's Georgia all day, made in Georgia. They get their payback from last week. 34-17, Georgia all over Kentucky. Nothing more to say. MF, how does Georgia bounce back from that demoralizing loss to South Kakalaki?
they just got to go back to what brought them to the dance. Jake Fromm, you got to get better. You got to deliver. I mean, your team wanted you to play with the heart, the passion, and the fire, and you did very well. I mean, you did fine from what it was worth. 295 yards. You had a touchdown, but 3 INTs. That is not going to get the job done. Then you had DeAndre Swift, 23 carries, 113 yards. And, that's what really killed him. Jake Fromm, who is really good, and I know a lot of people thought maybe outside shot at the Heisman, literally killed himself on this one. Guillotine type stuff. When you give up 3 INTs, that is not going to get the job done, and you got to play better. That's the key in this one. If Kentucky's defense can do what South Carolina's defense did and get to him, make him uncomfortable, blitz packaging, the whole 9 yards, maybe we get an upset, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Fromm's going to rebound. I think Georgia's offense is going to rebound. That defense was playing great. This is one of those rare cases you can't blame the defense. The defense was not responsible for this loss. The offense let you down. They failed, especially Fromm. Fromm throwing 3 picks, that killed Georgia, and that's why they lost last week. So they're going to bounce back, no doubt about it. Nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I give it to you.
Yeah, that that offense is definitely going to be fired up, and they definitely know that they are going to need to play better if they want to bounce back, which I think they will. And I expect them to bounce back in a big way. Yeah. Georgia and a laugher. Nothing more to say. Let's just move on, Florio.
All right, gentlemen. It is now the second of our big 3 games. And we have the other huge game in the Pac-12. 6 o'clock kickoff over on the Pac-12 network. The number 13 Utah Utes at home at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, hosting the number 17 Arizona State Sun Devils. This will be over on the Pac-12 network. Ted Robinson, Yogi Roth, Lewis Johnson, they will have it. And Utah opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. MF, I mean, we talked about Oregon and Washington earlier. Another huge game with major implications in the Pac-12.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, last year, it was Arizona State winning 38-20. And now they're going to be playing in Rice-Eccles this time around. So I got to feel like Utah is going to bounce back. I feel like Utah is looking at revenge. They remember what happened last year, but they dominated the last game 52-7 over Oregon State. I mean, that wasn't even close. And of course, Washington State gave Arizona State all that they could handle, just barely walking out with a 4-point win, 38-34. I really feel Utah is ready. They're motivated. They're fired up. I think they got the revenge on their mind, knowing what happened to them a year ago. They're going to bounce back. They're going to get the victory, and they're going to win by 2 touchdowns is my prediction. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you. Utah Utes winning this one over Arizona State.
Bullock, are you there? I don't know what happened to Bullock. I don't know if we lost him or what's going on. I guess I'm just gonna have to take it. Just keep an eye out and see if Bullock comes back in while I go through my notes for this one. Are the Sun Devils for real? That in various forms is the prevailing question of this contest. ASU has nice victories over Michigan State and Cal, but those offenses are bad. Utah, on the other hand, is tied for 7th nationally yards of play. While the Utes have the edge, this game is a major opportunity for Arizona State. And I definitely like Utah here, MF. I mean, you're absolutely right. Especially with the game being in Salt Lake City. I mean, that definitely gives Utah the advantage. And I'm just trying to, I had another set of notes I wanted to share in this one. I know there is another set that I had. But nonetheless, I mean, I got to go. Okay, here we go. And there is another surprising development, this time out of the Pac-12. Arizona State and Utah vying for Pac-12 South supremacy. The Sun Devils have won 4 straight one-possession games this season, including 3 by 4 points or fewer. The Utes, meanwhile, are coming off blowout wins against Washington State 38-13, and as MF mentioned, the aforementioned 52-7 beatdown of Oregon State. Both teams allow fewer than 100 rushing yards a game. So look for quarterbacks Jaden Daniels, 1,610 yards, 8 TDs, 1 pick, and Tyler Huntley, 1,393 yards and 9 TDs to put their teams on their shoulders. I think Utah's pass rush forces some timely mistakes by Daniels to pull out the win. That said, watch out if ASU keeps this game close late. The Sun Devils have more experience winning close games. So I'm going with Utah to win this game. 27-20. I have Utah beating Arizona State. Bullock's back in. So Bullock, Arizona State and Utah, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think this should be a good one here, no doubt about it. I mean, I'll be quite honest, if this game was in Arizona State, I'd call for the upset, but because it's in Utah, I gotta go with the Utes here. I think they're the better team here, so yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's just move on to our next game.
We got 4 to go, guys. 7 o'clock over on the Longhorn Network. Wink, wink. I think you know where we're going with this one. The number 15 Texas Longhorns, Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin, hosting the Kansas Jayhawks. And working that one, that will be Lowell Galindo, Ahmad Brooks, and Chris Budden. They will have that one. And Texas opening up as a 21-point favorite. So Bullock, started off with you here. Should be an easy win for Texas here.
Oh yeah, this will definitely be an easy win for Texas here. I mean, I think they should have no problem with Kansas here, especially since they're on their home field. So yeah, it's going to be a blowout here. It's going to be a laugher. It's going to be Texas all the way. Hook 'em horns. Florio, it's yours.
The Jayhawks showed a shred of promise early in the year when they handled Boston College on the road. However, a couple of blowout losses to TCU, 51-14, and Oklahoma, 45-20, have squashed any small hope of a surge for Kansas. Texas should be motivated after falling to rival Oklahoma last week in what was another epic, big Red River rivalry. So Texas all day, 49-21. Hook 'em horns. Nothing more to say. MF, easy one for Texas here.
Yeah, and especially after what happened last week, I feel for Texas, man. You know how high I am on Texas. You know how my love affair for that team. That's like Anthony with the Boise State thing. But this hurt. This hurt for them. I felt bad for them. But hopefully they will bounce back. I think they will. They should win this one pretty handily over Kansas. So really nothing more to say. Did Bullock already go?
Yes.
All right, then. Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
Main event time, boys.
Yeah, let's go.
The game of the week. And it comes to us from the Big Ten. It is the number 7 Penn State Nittany Lions at home at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley. They are going to be hosting the number 16 Michigan Wolverines on ABC, the ABC Saturday night game of the week. You know who's working this one. It's Chris Fowler. It's Kirk Herbstreit. It's Maria Taylor. And to the surprise of no one, including myself, Penn State is the favorite. Penn State opening up as a 9-point favorite. So, and me being the Chris Fowler of the group, it's only fitting I start this one off. So, so here we go, boys. Game of the week time. Let's do this. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Well, actually, it's in my notes here, so I'll get into that in just a moment. Michigan's latest trip to Happy Valley will determine which team is in the best position to challenge Ohio State in the Big Ten East. Michigan's offensive struggles have been well documented this season, and the Wolverines didn't exactly allay fears by allowing Illinois 25 straight points in a 42-25 win last week. The Nittany Lions, meanwhile, earned their second ugly win of the season in a 17-12 gutted-out game versus Iowa. Quarterback Sean Clifford wasn't overly impressive in that one, completing 12 of 24 passes for 117 yards and a touchdown. He'll need to be better against the Michigan defense that has allowed 160.5 passing yards a game and has more interceptions, 5, than passing touchdowns allowed, 3. It's also worth noting Penn State is 3-1 this decade when they host Michigan in a whiteout game. MF, it'll be close, but I think the Nittany Lions are going to make it 4-1 come Saturday night, with all due respect. So, a month ago, Wisconsin obliterated a visiting Michigan team. That continued a 10-year-long trend for head coach Jim Harbaugh on the road against ranked opponents. Can the Wolverines break the slide at Penn State? Given that the Nittany Lions have not surrendered more than 13 points all season, the answer does not look promising. I think Michigan will keep it close, but I think ultimately Penn State will win this game. I'm going to go 20-13, Penn State over Michigan in the game of the week. Should be a beauty between these two. Could be a Shakespearean drama classic. You never know. So there's nothing more to say, MF. I mean, I bet you're probably hyperventilating right now. But you're thinking, oh, no, not a whiteout. Oh, no.
No, because I remember, I think the one year that there was the whiteout, and I think it was against Michigan, Michigan won. So, I mean, we have knocked them off in the whiteout. So, I mean, we just got to play the game, you know. Hopefully, our defense steps up the way that they haven't stepped up lately. I'll openly admit it. The game against Illinois definitely left a lot of plot holes that didn't really need to be plotted, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. It's going to be an interesting matchup, no doubt about it. Obviously, Penn State is the clear-cut favorite, no doubt about it. I think really you got to kind of think about it this way. If Michigan gets by Penn State, then you run into Notre Dame. So I hope Michigan's not looking past Penn State, that they know the whiteout and everything else, and that we hope that they're not thinking about Notre Dame, because remember, they're coming to us. They're coming to the big house. And the last time I remember, you guys, I don't really do that well when you play us at the big house. If it was Notre Dame Stadium, I'd be a little worried. Well, you're coming to our home. So we're not as intimidated in that situation. So we'll see what happens, but I kind of feel like Penn State's probably going to get it. A close game, short game, but we'll wait and see what happens. Shea Patterson's got to play a great game. That's all he's got to do. Play a great game. Don't make many turnovers, and because that's the one thing that Michigan's been getting killed on, turnovers. If they can play a clean game, they're going to pull the upset. Remember, a lot of people didn't think that they were going to beat Iowa. A lot of people started thinking, oh, Iowa this, Michigan got crushed by Wisconsin. So now they're going up against Iowa, and they're probably going to lose that. No, we handled our business, and we won that game. So we'll wait and see what happens. Let's see what type of Michigan team we're going to get. Then I'll let you know more or less where we stand. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, some people think that that Michigan may not have a chance in Penn State because of because it's a whiteout. But like Fletcher just mentioned, I mean, last time there was a whiteout when they played Michigan, Michigan pulled off the upset. So they have that as motivation to feel like, hey, we can go into Penn State in a whiteout and pull it off. Do I think they will? Well, we'll see. I mean, yeah, they just gotta play well, but Penn State's also gotta they gotta do their job as well. So, this is a tough one to call. But you know what? I mean, I'm a man who, I mean, I already took a chance on one game with an upset. You know what? I think they can do it. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it. Michigan is going to go into Penn State, pull off the upset in a close one, 21-17. Michigan upsets Penn State, and yeah, it's not going to be much of a celebration with whiteout night. Florio, it's yours.
2 games left, and we move on to we have a rare 9 o'clock kickoff here. 9 o'clock over on ESPN. They're back at number 1 once again. The Alabama Crimson Tide at home at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. And they are going to be hosting the Volunteers of Tennessee. And on call for that one, it will be Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Todd McShay, and Molly McGrath. And Alabama. Yeah, Alabama, without question, they're going to be sizable favorites here. 34.5. It's a 34.5 point spread for Alabama. So there's really nothing more to say. MF, at least for this week, we can say next victim for Alabama.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, Tennessee has not beaten Alabama in 12 years.
Well, 7. Wow.
Huh?
2007. Wow.
Yeah. That pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It's been one-sided. Absolutely one-sided. And, it's just, you just can't feel or just understand the contribution or anything about it. And at the end of the day, yeah, like you said, next victim. I got no doubts in my mind. Alabama should handle their business. They're going to prove why they are the number 1 team in the nation again. And they're going to dominate and destroy Tennessee. So, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. Alabama, they're gonna handle Tennessee without a problem. So, yeah, next victim, indeed. Florio, it's yours.
Florida and Georgia combined outscored Tennessee 77-17 and outgained the Vols 967-582. Does anyone really think quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and Alabama won't accomplish the same? Roll Tide, next victim, 51-7. It's all Alabama all day. So there's nothing more to say, gentlemen. We have one more game left on the docket, and then we'll call it a night here. We have the number 14 Boise State Broncos on the road against the BYU Cougars at LaVell Edwards Stadium. A 10:15 kickoff over on ESPN2. And on the call for that one, it will be Clay Matvick with Ryan Leaf and Taylor McGregor. And Boise opening up as a 7-point favorite. So Bullock, Boise State and BYU. Keep in mind, BYU upset USC earlier this year. Just saying. But Boise is the favorite, a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, Boise is the favorite, but yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, BYU beat USC earlier. So yeah. I mean, there's a chance they could pull off the upset. I mean, Boise State, they just got to do their job and handle their business here, and they should come out with a victory. I mean, BYU will be in it for a good portion of the game, but I think in the end, Boise State will win this one. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. I got a frozen screen here. But okay. BYU has a limited offense and mediocre run defense. That's a big problem against the Broncos, who are stingy defensively and are starting to run effectively. Home field advantage won't be meaningful unless the Cougars' serviceable secondary forces Boise State's quarterback, whether it's Hank Bachmeier, Chase Cord, or even Jalen Henderson, into a couple of turnovers. But I got Boise State winning this one 38-21. Give me Boise over BYU. Nothing more to say. MF put a bow on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Boise State as well. It's gonna be a close game, no doubt about it. This is one of those where you could easily make an argument. They kind of disrespected them on this situation. You know, that point spread a little too low, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Boise State to win it. So, Florio, let's put a bow on it for tonight.
Yes, indeed. That puts a bow on this Week 8 edition of College Football Thursday. I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Next week here on College Football Thursday, we got some big ones, boys. Ooh, we got some great matchups next week. Game of the week, without question, Wisconsin at Ohio State. Yeehaw. That's all I'm going to say on that one. How about Auburn against LSU? How about, I'll even throw in Penn State against Michigan State. That's a good one there. But, of course, the game of the week in our hearts, realistically, because of all the tradition and history, it's Notre Dame and Michigan. And, gentlemen, I can confirm it will be the ABC Saturday night game of the week. Come on, somebody. So, let's go. Notre Dame and Michigan next Saturday.
In the immoral words of the late, great Keith Jackson, whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly, indeed. Notre Dame and Michigan, ABC Saturday night game of the week next week. Fowler and Herbie and crew, let's go. That's all I can say on that. I can't wait. So, but that's next week. We'll get into the rest of the future content in just a moment. MF, let's set the table for the big Friday night Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night, including a very highly anticipated Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match announced today.
Yes, indeed. It's gonna be Shinsuke Nakamura versus Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental title tomorrow night. We're gonna cover everything on SmackDown Live. The first night since the draft, the teams are locked. How is that gonna affect? Plus, we got a new executive producer for SmackDown Live, a new executive director, as it's Bruce Pritchard replacing Eric Bischoff. What's his vision gonna look like? So we got that, and yes, there is a Mikey's Mindset. I got Ring of Honor, I got MLW, and we're gonna do that at 10:30 Eastern right here on StreamYard and YouTube.com. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Anthony, it's all yours.
All right, MF. Looking forward to it. Also, in addition to Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night, we will have NFL Saturday. We'll definitely get into the Patrick Mahomes situation if we hear anything. And we'll run down the other big games of the week. And then Monday night, of course, Ridiculously Raw, our first show since our rosters got, transformed. So can't wait to see our lineup in Cleveland. Of course, SmackDown will be in Indianapolis tomorrow night, the Conseco Fieldhouse. So have a good show there, MF. And we'll be in the house. We'll be in the old House of the Bronze, Cleveland. So looking forward to that on Monday. And then Wednesday Night Mayhem, MF will have that. NXT, AEW, and then, of course, next week, College Football Thursday, those three big ones, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Auburn, LSU, and number one in our hearts, Notre Dame and Michigan. So that's all I can say on that. We're going to definitely have some in-depth coverage of that one, believe me. So that's it, gentlemen. So until tomorrow night for the Friday night Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson. And, of course, not only in spirit, but in our hearts always, Derek Ferreira. We miss you, man. That's all there is to say on that. These aren't the same without you. In our prayers every day. That's all I can say on that. We wish you nothing but the best, brother. That's all there is to say on that. We pray one day that you come back. And, that's all I can say on that. But anywho, For everybody who's been a part of this one, bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night, for Friday Night Cerebral Smack Talk, keep it watching Strictly Sports. College Football Thursday, Week 8 edition, right here on the Tone 25 on StreamYard and YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo, so long, and bye, 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 bye.